Welcome to the Health Revolution, the program that shows you how to have a life of vibrant well-being. In a world full of noisy health trends, we bring you clarity. We reveal the science-backed strategies that truly work in a sea of fads. We explore the physical strength, emotional resilience, and mental mastery. These are the keys to an enriched life. Join us for inspiring interviews with champions who've conquered life's health challenges. Are you ready to unlock your potential to live with vitality and purpose? Then join the Health Revolution. I'm your host, Adriana Morrison, health and fitness expert, speaker, and a mom who understands. Let's embark on this transformative quest. Together, we're about to change the game starting now. The information provided in this show is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Viewers should use their own discretion and consult with a healthcare professional for personalized guidance and recommendations. Welcome, everybody. You are watching the Health Revolution, and we are excited that you are joining us today. I'm your host, Adriana Morrison, and no matter which way you're tuning into us, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We want to stay connected to you. Also, at the bottom of your screen, there is a tab for show episode notes. Keep that in mind because there's some important information about today's episode and our incredible guest today. And today we are talking about how to go from powerlessness to powerful. And what does that mean? Especially when we are overcoming setbacks and traumas and really, truly claiming that emotional mastery. All of the things that help us to elevate our life. Our guest today is someone who is pretty incredible, and she is joining us all the way from Australia. We get a chance to get to know her and her expertise. First, take a look at this. Meet Danielle Runeback, a women's empowerment coach in Brisbane, Australia, with the mission to guide women from feeling powerless to truly powerful. Danielle's journey is one of overcoming deep personal struggles, trauma, abuse, addiction, anxiety, and loss, and she has turned that pain into a passion for helping others heal. Through her coaching, Danielle creates a safe, supportive, and judgment-free space for women to rebuild their strength, reclaim their lives, and feel mighty again. Today, we will learn how Danielle transforms lives and helps women rise above life's greatest challenges. Danielle Runeback, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hello, thanks for having me.
I'm excited to talk to you. And of course, joining us all the way from Australia. You know, with your life and all the things that you've been through, what truly inspired you to become a life coach and to work with those who you're working with?
That would be just to help people through their life experiences, to know that there's always help out there, and how to seek that help and support.
And I'm curious about some of the different things in your life, the journey that you took. Was there a specific chapter that really defined, that really made you think, you know what, this is my calling. I need to help others get through what I just went through?
Yeah. I lost my mum last year, the start of last year. And that was when I had the big turning point of I need to get out and start helping other people.
And I'm so sorry for your loss. I know that that's pretty tremendous. And what helped you go through that, where you were able to navigate? What helped you cope with that loss? And what empowered you to keep moving forward?
It was a lot of meditation practice, a lot of different modalities that I'd learned that I put into place to help me overcome the grief and the loss.
Can you give us examples of things that really resonated with you, the things that drew you to keep moving forward?
It was just knowing that I had to get out there and help other people that are in the same situations, to know that they're not alone, and it's okay to go through grief and loss, and there is help, and yeah, everything will be okay.
Was that the first time that you ever experienced loss?
No, when I was 16, I was pregnant and I went through a really bad miscarriage. And I was in and out of hospital a few times. In the end, I had 2 blood transfusions with blood warmers, and I was by myself, and they had to take the baby. The baby was 14 and a half weeks, and I never spoke to anybody about it. And for 10 years, I blamed myself for that. And that led me to all the other paths that were not the right path. Um, so that was a big loss in my life.
I can't even begin to imagine what that must have been like. Did you have support around you at that time? Because 16, obviously, that's very young, and certainly it can be scary.
It was very scary, and it was very traumatic, and I didn't have any help or support around me. I tried to reach out to my mum, and she didn't want to know about it. And I didn't have any real close friends or anyone to talk to about it. So I just kept it inside for many, many years.
So that's an example of survival, would you say?
Yes, definitely.
What helped you get through that? Because obviously that's such a challenging chapter that it could it could really derail someone for many years. What allowed you the strength to move forward, being 16 and going through not having support?
Um, I just wanted to help other people. I've always wanted to just help other people, and no matter what I've gone through in life, I just always just want to help other people, just help support and guide people through life, and that's been my whole life.
So when I think of when I was 16, I didn't have the cognitive wherewithal. I think we all have our own navigation that we're doing. We're trying to get through some stuff that can really that can be in our way. And I remember being 16 and just not knowing what to do. What helped you? And I guess where I'm trying to get at is what helped you? What thought process helped you to keep moving forward? What did you tell yourself to keep moving forward back then?
Um, what did I tell myself to keep moving forward? That there's more, that life keeps going. Life keeps going. No matter what life throws at you, life keeps going, and there's always something positive that comes out of something negative.
So I'm curious. I didn't have the best relationship with my mother just throughout my entire life. What would you say that you could relate to me saying that? And what were some things that you you trusted for you to do that just helped you?
So, growing up, my mum was she wasn't really there for me. So I had to do everything pretty much myself. I basically brought myself up, um, and had a lot of life experiences along the way. Um, and then when so I ran away from home when I was 14 and a half, and um, didn't really talk to mum much until I had my first son at 27. And that's when we started building our relationship again, but it was very on and off. And it wasn't until mum passed that I realised that she was going through a lot of stuff as well that she didn't talk to me about. And had I have known what I know now, I could have gone back and tried to fix our relationship been there to support her a bit more and help her with, yeah. But yeah, we didn't have a very loving relationship or anything, and that's what I wanted when she was alive. So yeah, I just wanted to reach out and give her a hug and a kiss and tell her I loved her, and then there was the opposite where I just didn't want to know her at all. So yeah.
I think it's, and I can relate in so many ways in that, in my relationship with my mom, I think that there was sure that there were things that she had gone through. And I get all the impressions that it was too painful for her to communicate in a way that could benefit both of us. I think that there's a level of transparency and vulnerability you have to have in order to get real with someone. And I think that it oftentimes can be scary. So I will say that that's part of the landscape. Looking back, do you feel like that was something that you experienced with your mom, that it was
Yeah.
just the level of communication was just could have been,
Yeah.
just didn't occur?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, I found that mum was like, hey, I'm the mother here and you're the daughter, so why should I listen to you? I got that a lot. Yeah. Um, I'd try to give her some information and she'd be like, oh, and I could tell that I was like, I was mothering her, but she didn't really like it. So, yeah. Yeah.
Well, here in the States, they call that diaper baby syndrome. And I don't know if that's something that they say in Australia, but the idea being that uh, that it's a challenge to hear words that resonate and have value from children. And whereas, in theory, parents are, have the knowledge and the years underneath their belts to where, they ought to not have to listen to kids. And I just want to say that it's a traditional form of thinking, but I do think that it's probably still exists out there. Do you find that some women just do struggle with those that you work with, that that relationship with their moms, it has that element in there?
Yeah, definitely. I hear it a lot. I hear that it happens a lot. Yeah, a lot of different situations and cases and stuff, but it happens a lot. Yeah.
So then, so you go through, you had the experience of becoming a mom for a first time and having the trauma that goes behind it, and then becoming 18, and in many areas of the world that's considered an adult, even though we all have learning to do at that age and beyond. What were some things that helped you grow, specifically you personally, to where you could now look back and say, I grew?
Yeah. Um, my life basically didn't begin until I was 25, where I met my husband. It was on a dating site as well. And we just connected really well. And I thought, this, this man is for me. And that's when I gave up all my addictions. So I had a drug addiction, um, which numbed me from the 10 years of losing my child and all the abuse and traumas that I've been through in my life to yeah. So when I met my husband, he was like the male figure in my life, and it made me relax a lot more, and so I basically started my life then and had my son, and then I thought, oh well, I want my son to grow up and not have to worry about anything, and completely gave my son and my daughter now too everything that I didn't have. So yeah,
And I
overcompensated.
and I think there's a level of reflection that comes when you allow yourself to grow. It seems as though when it's okay to trust the process, that we're not defined by our current situations. And I think that it seems like that would be a distinguishing element between women who can move past traumas and then women who maybe feel stuck and that they're reliving the trauma. What can you say about that?
So it takes a lot from being stuck in the trauma. Like it's like a circle. We go around and around and around, and you've got to get out of that circle of, so pushing out of your comfort zone is a big thing when you're stuck in trauma. And just pushing out in the comfort zone and just breathing and knowing that everything's going to be okay.
And obviously that's trusting the process. That's
Yeah.
not knowing whether or not, I mean, we all know that to be true, but I think that obviously that there's a level of comfort if we know that a certain journey will produce a good outcome.
Yeah.
And yes,
Once you start pushing out of your comfort zone, you realize that things are okay. And then so you get more and more out of your comfort zone. The more you get out of your comfort zone, the more you know that you're going to be okay, and things start to get easier.
what did your 25-year-old self tell you in the mirror at the time things began to take a turn for the better?
Um, I just felt really good within myself, and I knew that I had like a good direction to go to in life. And I was just really excited to explore that. Yeah.
How would you define powerlessness or powerless, being powerless? What does that mean?
Being powerless is where you're just stuck in overwhelm and anxiety, and you just feel sick. It limits you to do a lot of things. Um, you don't even want to get out of bed. And most days, you just want to sleep the day away and just be over that day. There's a lot of different things where yeah, that you feel when you're powerless.
I almost, when I think of powerless, I almost feel like there's this resignation, like I have no power, and it's almost as though there's a level of finality that somebody decides that they're powerless or that they give up on a situation. And how
Mm.
often do you see that, especially when you're working with women? How often is that happening?
I do see it quite a lot.
Okay. Okay. Is it getting better or is it getting worse?
I think it's getting worse, but when women know that there's help out there and you start to speak to them and show them that everything will be okay, that's when they start to realize that everything is okay. Everything will be okay.
I think sometimes it's also the story that we tell ourselves when
Yeah.
we knowing knowing the fact that there's no predictable outcome. Things can happen, things can turn one way or turn another, but then it's almost like the assurance. So where should that begin when we choose to believe that things are going to be better?
It's all about a positive mindset. So if you tell yourself that things will get better, things will get better. So it's about learning how to become positive and learn that positivity for everything that you do, and listening to how you talk as well and speak, and if you can do something, if you say to yourself you can do something, then you can do it. But if you have the mindset of I can't do this, I don't know, then you're stuck in the negative.
And there's a lot more to cover. We're going to talk about empowerment. We're going to talk about the different points of how to go from powerless to powerful. First, we're going to take a commercial break. Stay right there. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this.
MAD is something that we use for people who are going through withdrawal symptoms, whether it's opioids, whether it's alcohol. GABA receptors in our brain is something that alcohol affects when we drink. So when you're going through alcohol withdrawals and I give you the calm bag or give you calm with GABA in it, it kind of gives your brain that kind of fix, so to speak, of the alcohol to help with the withdrawal symptoms. I'm not saying it gets rid of them. I'm not saying I give you GABA and you're good to go forever. That's not what I'm saying. It's again, just like everything we offer, it's a relief.
Introducing Launchpad, the perfect partner to help you launch your dream project to the world. We know that time is of the essence, and we're here to help you make the most of it. With Launchpad, you'll get access to the most advanced digital tools and strategies to take your idea from a mere concept to a fully fledged success. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned pro, we have everything you need to make your mark in the world. Launchpad, your ultimate launch partner.
Welcome back to the Health Revolution. We're talking about being powerless to being powerful. Our guest today is Danielle Runeback. She's all the way from Brisbane, Australia. And before the break, we were talking, Dani was sharing her journey with overcoming some profound areas of experiencing trauma to then being able to grow. Her turning point being at age 25 when things took a greater turn for the better. And, Dani, I love your story because obviously it's a testament to being able to hang on long enough for and believing in your path, and that things eventually, that light comes to the path. And I'm curious, how would you define empowerment? What does the word empowerment mean to you?
Empowerment is just feeling mighty, like feeling powerful, like you can do anything and you can do anything. Feeling powerful is having the mindset of I can do, I will do, just positive. It's not being stuck in overwhelm and the negativity. Everybody has anxiety, but it's knowing how to come out of that feeling of anxiety. Powerful is just, it's powerful.
Yes, and I love what you're saying in that, just believing that you can do anything. And on a realistic note, it's not so much it's not so much as in the timeline in which things are done quickly, but eventually on the other side of that effort and resilience and determination, that's where you begin to see the fruits of your labor. What are some common areas that women have shared with you that you've determined that they do feel powerless? Are there some common signs or common situations in life where women often, and men as well, often feel powerless? And what are some examples that maybe we don't talk about a whole lot?
The journey on their life, they don't know where to go in life. There's a lot of like when they're at work, or when you don't know if you want to be in that situation, or another one would be there's lots of different ones. Yeah.
I would imagine with work, it's feeling like if you've got a position in life, or if you've got a position with a company or an organization and there's not a whole lot of advancement, and then, or maybe a toxic work environment where not everybody's playing nice, and suddenly you feel some dread. How often do you see that where the work environment is the one that's really wreaking havoc on someone that you're working with?
I work in a really amazing work environment, and I don't see that at my work, but I do see it in other people's work. Um, I think it all comes down to communication. There's like a communication barrier, where people need to just stand up and talk about how they're feeling, and communication is everything in a workplace.
And I think sometimes it can be hard to do, especially if there is a supervisor or if there's someone in management position that you have to communicate with, that they're not necessarily understanding or recognizing what what either complaints or maybe concerns that somebody has. I know for me, I before COVID, I remember the last job that I had before COVID changed everything, is the environment was not so great. It was a little bit chauvinistic. It was you could tell that the higher ups, the very very top, didn't want to rock the boat because of the type of response that was being received. And but to address some of that chauvinism that was taking place, that meant a risk of having certain customers or members come, and that would be an issue. And but for me, I'll just share, for me, I felt at peace being able to speak my concerns diplomatically. And then as COVID changed everything, it was like, wow, I don't want to go back to an environment like that. So how many times do you hear that? So it sounds like your environment is very cohesive, but how many times do women or even men come up to you and say, I'm dealing with this stuff at work, and I got to spend all this time at work, and I don't want to be there, and I don't know what to do about it. I'm stuck. How many times do you hear that?
I hear it a lot. I hear it a lot with my husband too. He comes home every day and he says the same things every day. And so I'm like, if you don't like it, then change. You're the one that can change your life. So, and there's lots of other things out there. If you don't like it, then move on. Just change.
And that can be scary for some people. I
Yeah.
think that it's easier said than done, sure. And I think we can all agree on that. What does change mean? What does it mean? Some people will say, it's not that easy. I've got it good, or this pays the bills. And, I guess I should wait it out, but I oughta, but I'm struggling here. So what do you say to people who say, well, you know what, easier said than done?
It means to step out of your comfort zone. Step out of your comfort zone and take one foot in front of the other. Take it slowly, and good things will come.
And even with that, can you say that, or would you recommend someone saying that even if they're scared?
I would say that even if somebody was scared or not, because you don't know. You don't know what you're going to get into. You're leaving, and then you're going to move on to. But if you're not happy there, then there's no point of staying unhappy there. So then moving on, you can always keep moving on to find your happiness.
So being able to make the decision to change, so that's important. What are some ways that you assess when someone is ready for change? Or what are some ways, let me ask it a different way. What are some things that people who are struggling can use to assess whether or not it's time for change?
Meditation's a good one, to sit in and tune into yourself and ask yourself, talk to yourself, and you've got the answers inside you. Everybody has the answers inside them. Sometimes we need help to get the answers out, and that's where the life coach comes in. and into help and brings out different tools from the toolbox. But you've got the answers inside you, and feeling scared is a good feeling.
I definitely believe that to be true. I think that if you're excited and scared of a specific moment, of a certain outcome because somebody is taking a chance, I think that's a very good sign. I think that we're not always going to understand and know the journey, but I think if we're nervous but we've never been there before, so it's kind of like, I don't know what to expect, but I know this is the way that I need to go. That's obviously those are some positive signs. Would you agree?
Yes.
And so when you take the word powerless and you change it to powerful, what are some other practical steps that somebody can do, especially say somebody who's watching our show might think, you know what, easier said than done. I'm going to go back to that. It's a lot harder for my end. What are some helpful things to do to put one foot in front of the other?
Yeah. I believe in taking time for you. So go out there and ground yourself and come back into yourself and listen to your body. And your body will tell you, your body will show you the answers.
What are some ways that the body tells you you're going the wrong way? What are some indicators? What are some signs that tell us, uh-oh, or what are some signs that we could pay attention to if our body gives off those signs?
Yeah. So that would be going into your overwhelm, anxiety, stress, all the emotions, and you've got to put the emotions into motion. So coming into your body and thanking yourself for all the emotions that present themselves. So if you're feeling nervous, then sit in your body and thank yourself for showing you you're nervous. And then it's funny because your body just, it's like, oh, thank you, like, thank you for showing me, and it just it goes away.
Do you think more women than men, or is it even that struggle with how to be empowered, how to really embrace this journey that we're on, that it comes with all these learning lessons that we could use to get to that next level? Do you think more women than men struggle with how to be empowered, or do you think it's even Steven all the way across the board?
I feel like it is even. Women do talk about it a lot more than men. Men tend to keep things in a lot. A lot of men do. Men are starting to come out and talk about it. But everybody just needs to know that it's okay. It's okay to feel those feelings and talk about those feelings. And yeah.
Do you find that the people that you work with, that it's a sense of relief being able to talk through some of what they've been struggling with?
Yes.
So, I find it ironic that we recognize so many things that we ought to be okay with in life that we couldn't talk about, like, say, in our parents and our grandparents' generation, but then we're still having a hard time communicating. So I'm kind of curious your opinion. Why do you think that is, that there's more that's been recognized that is okay and uniquely okay in our journey, but then we're struggling to talk? Why is that?
It could come back from an inner child area where, if when you were younger, if you were, a lot of us back in the day were told, children should be seen and never heard, and we were silenced a lot, and I think a lot of our childhood reflects back on our adulthood. So basically, when we're living in adulthood, we revert back to being childlike. So we don't know how to, because we've been taught not to.
And I do think it's generational, because for someone like me with a Latin background, where in Latin cultures, there's this once upon a time, and still is to this day, there's this level of, you don't challenge the elders, you don't, otherwise you're disrespecting the elders, and that sort of thing. And so that was a message that I heard in a lot of different ways, or that I was exposed to in a lot of different ways. Did you go through that in Australia? Is that something that, so then as you're shaking your head, then that would tell me there's a lot of generational commonalities no matter where we are.
Yeah, correct.
So what would you tell your 18-year-old self today? If you could go back in time and talk to her, what would you say to her?
My 18-year-old self didn't really think or care about anything. My 18-year-old self needed the love and the support. I would go back and do everything a lot differently if I could. So I wouldn't have run away from home, and I wouldn't have got into the drugs that I did back then. I would have concentrated on my life a lot, and working on my life.
As we have
numbing it.
Yes. And as we have more and more conversations, or at least there's more opportunities to have conversations across generations, I almost find that it's hard not to say, hey, when I was your age, or hey, when I was, back in the day. So what are some of your favorite support approaches to younger women, younger than you, that are struggling today? What are some of your best practices that you like to do?
I like to help in different ways. There's lots of different ways that you can help bring out different modalities and practices. I would just work on the person and see where they need help and support, and it's all about positivity as well.
So being able to address a sensitive topic, that with not a lot of finger wagging, but with rather recognition that,
yes.
And there's a whole lot that we're going to go into. I'm excited to talk about some of Danielle's best practices. First, we're going to take a commercial break. Stay right there. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this. Thank you so much for watching The Health Revolution. Our show is growing, and it's all thanks to viewers like you. No matter how you found us, please hit the subscribe button so we can stay connected and continue to deliver amazing content to you.
Hi, I'm Adriana, and welcome back to Fit Bites. Today we're focusing on hip mobility, something important for both men and women, especially as we age. Now, keeping your hips flexible and strong is key to preventing pain and injury. Now, if you start to feel hip pain, it's important to take action early. Pain can stem from tightness, muscle imbalances, or even overuse. Now, simple hip opening exercises like lunges, hip flexor stretches, and figure 4 stretches can make a big difference. Adding these into your daily routine can improve your mobility and reduce discomfort. Now, if the pain persists, pay attention. Sharp or persistent pain could be a sign of something more serious, like arthritis or hip impingement. Now, if that's the case, it's important to consult a doctor or physical therapist to avoid worsening the issue. Low impact exercises like swimming or cycling can help keep your hips active without putting too much stress on them. Stay aware of your body and keep those hips moving. Now remember, mobility is crucial for long-term health. So keep your hips open, stay active, and don't ignore any pain that lingers. Stay tuned for more Fit Bites with Adriana.
Welcome back, everybody. My guest today is Danielle Runeback. She is a certified life coach, and we're talking about how to go from powerless to powerful. And during the second segment, we were going over some of the different examples in life in which we can find ourselves powerless, but we can turn things around. And Danny, I'm curious, what are some of your favorite ways to show support to women who you're working with? And what are some of your favorite ways to remind yourself that you're on a good track, especially when you're overcoming an obstacle?
That's a good question. A good way is to just put yourself out there and show leadership, and people will follow. I do a lot of journaling and meditation to keep myself on track. There's a lot of different things that I do and different ways that I do it. A lot of going out into nature and just breathing and relaxing is a good way to reset yourself as well. And practice, work on your breath work and listen to yourself and tune into yourself. Yeah.
I've been hearing that a lot, the meditation and breath work. And so I know at this point there is validity behind that. How important is community when it comes to healing? What does community look like when someone's going through the healing process? Does it mean anyone, family? Does it mean what if somebody's alone? And how do they establish community? What role does community play in the healing process?
Community is a great, for me, community, everyone comes together and joins and shares their knowledge and their support and helps one another. So that you don't feel alone. So everybody has a different story, and people need to start talking about their stories more often and it's okay, your story. Everybody has gone through different things in life, and it's good to talk about your story. Don't keep it bottled up inside of you.
I want to talk about the work that you do with when you are coaching, when you're with others, when you're leading others to really improve on themselves and become that mighty, that powerful. So I want to talk about some of your programs, and I know we're gonna switch and bring some information on the screen. Tell us a little bit about what you bring to the table.
Yeah, so I offer one-on-one coaching. And I also offer group coaching as well, where there's a group of women who we all get together and meet once a week and talk about whatever comes up and do lots of different healing and lots of meditations and lots of different modalities in there. So I help teach women different ways that they can utilize the different tools that they need to get through what they need to get through in their life. And I, they're the main two ones that I'm doing at the moment. Yeah.
Can you name a specific example of someone you've worked with can you name a situation where they just completely grew and you were able to experience their growth in going through your program?
Yeah. So I had one lady who didn't, who wanted to take her life. She wasn't happy within herself, and I spent a weekend with her doing different modalities, different healing with her, and by the end of that weekend, she was a different person.
So obviously she had the support and the guidance that came with that she didn't experience before. And and that's pretty incredible, especially for anyone who is able to turn their life around from that feeling of despair. And what is your goal? What are some of the things that you aim to accomplish when you're working with women?
I like to see their joy and their overcoming what they need, like their fears and their different emotions, and where they are in life, going from feeling powerless to feeling powerful, and watching them grow, and it completely changes a person, and you can see it in their face and see it in their body and their body language. And
Do you have an area that you are that you love to work on the most? Is there a certain area of life that you love to work with women on, whether it's trauma, or whether it's self-limiting beliefs or establishing goals? Do you have a favorite sub niche that you love to dive into with women that you're working with?
I do love all three of those. Being through a lot of different life experiences. I just love it all. I really love. Yeah.
Obviously, it doesn't matter. Just you're welcoming them with open arms.
Yeah.
Willing to jump in.
Yeah.
And that's pretty incredible, and nothing's holding you back, for sure. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay right there. We're coming right back. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this. Welcome back to the Health Revolution. We've been spending time with our guest today, Danielle Runeback, all the way from Brisbane, Australia, and certified life coach. And she helps women turn from powerless to powerful. And Danny, where can we find you in the virtual space? Where are you?
I've got Facebook, Instagram, and I've just joined LinkedIn as well. And I've also got my website.
So we're going to bring the website up here. And what are some elements on there? If someone jumps on there, what can they find?
They can find a little section all about me, and then I've got all my programs that I run as well. I've got lots of different little programs on there. Yeah.
And if there's one takeaway that you would love for our audience to have, the one message you would love for them to take away, what would it be?
To know that you're not alone, that there's always help out there, and reach out and ask for help.
And one thing I love about your story, obviously, it is an example of resilience. You have been through some very, very challenging portions of your life, and obviously, you're a testament to hanging in there and growing from the experience and becoming a stronger version of you. And I definitely want to give you flowers with that. I think that's incredible and important for others to see as a wow. If she can do it, I can do it. And I think that that's a powerful thing to do. And I love that that this is the space that you're in, and that you are making yourself available for those to know that they can work with you. What do you have going on for the rest of 2024 going into 2025?
I am looking at running retreats. Is something that I'm working on. Weekend retreats, all about healing. And also I'm in the middle of writing a book as well. So, yeah.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it goes without saying, but I'd love to reclarify that when you work with women, it is women all over. So even though you're in wonderful Australia, you're reaching far and wide, would you say?
Absolutely. I want to take my message all over the world. However that may be. Yeah, speaking on TV shows, anything. Yeah.
Well, we're thrilled that you spent some time with us. Dani Runeback, certified life coach, all the way from Australia. Thank you so much for your time and energy. Thank you for sharing your story and being an example of hope out there, and working with women near and far. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And for our audience, of course, you can find us on the web. Our website is thehealthrevolutiontv.com. You can always subscribe to our newsletter. You can email us with any show episode ideas that you would have. You can catch that. And in addition to that, you can find us on E360 every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, each and every single week on the Achieve TV channel. That is all the time that we have for today. Until next time, take care of yourselves. We will see you soon.